If you have sales reps in your company, I will show you how to improve the tracking for the feedback from all your discovery calls, for example, with one simple automation. I'll show you how to set up Calendly or whatever calendar booking app you use with a specific tracking, how or what you need to have on your feedback form for this to work, and then finally how to set up this simple automation. So let's get started. Here it's Calendly, but you can use cal.com or any other platform. But what you need to have is these workflows where you have like when an event ends, immediately after it ends, you do something. So that's all you need to have. In this case, I'm calling it, for example, event ends discovery, and you would select the discovery call. In this case, it's just an example, this one that I created for this test. Then you want to, when this happens, it immediately when the event ends. So this is the important part. And when it happens, we do what? We send an email to someone else. So it's not to the invitee, it's not to your own email, it's to someone else. And this someone else is a specific email that we are going to create in Make. So Make is what we're using for the automation. And how do you do this is if you log into Make for the first time and you create a scenario, you are going to see a bubble like this. You're going to click on the plus, click webhook, and you're going to click on custom mail hook. And so we're going to click ads, and you are going to name this, for example, discovery call ended. And you can call this Calendly, so that you know from what it is, you name it whatever you want. But once you click save, I'm not going to do it because I already have one, you are going to see this URL, which is basically just an email address. So you're going to copy the address, and you are going to go back to this part, and you are going to paste it here, and you would have this specific email. So this is what's going to trigger the automation. On the subject, you can leave discovery, because you may have this for discovery calls, for strategy calls, sales calls, whatever. So here is how you identify which call it is. And then, instead of having multiple automations, you can do everything in one. And then here, it's very important, you need to pass the invitee email. And how you would do this is you call him prospect or email or whatever other name you want to give. Just remember that we need to know what name this is, and I'll show you after why. But you would pass it this way. Who sends the email doesn't matter. What matters is that this email, the specific email, is sent to the email address that you just created. So you click done, you click save, and you would have this good to go. So this would trigger every single time a call ends, or those specific call ends, and based on the workflow, it would trigger this. So once that is triggered, it starts the automation, and the automation goes into this text parser, which we match a pattern. So how you would do this is if you have the other module, you click on plus, you look for text parser, and you go for match pattern. And that's how you also add all the other ones with the plus. So inside of it, we want to add these regex. This is like a regular expression. I'm not going to go into details on how and what this does, but it looks for these specific words and start. So prospects with the points. That's why I told you should remember what name or what you call it there. In this case, prospect. And then it just basically looks for what email exists after these words. So you can leave everything like this. This is going to get an email after the prospect keywords. And here on text, what we want is to pass the text from the webhook. So it's this one here. This would be empty. You would click text. How you would see these informations that I'm seeing here is you would trigger this. So you would wait for a call to end, or you would book a test call and wait for this to trigger with run, or by clicking with the double clicking, or if you're on Mac, or right clicking if you're on Windows, and click run this module only, and then wait until you receive something, because then you can see everything that you receive and how to map it, like you would map here the text. Now, why do we pass the discovery on the subject line? Because you could do this for all the other calls. So you'd add here a router, and how you do this is you right click, add router, or you go look for routers and you drag them until here. But you'd click here on the plus, and you can click as many times as you want and add other calls. So how you would do this is here on the filter, here in the middle, you click. The condition you'd look for subject has to be equal to discovery in this case. And you can name this discovery so that you know here with the label where the things are going. And same thing, if you're doing one for the sales call, I don't know, you would say that the subject is sales, and you'd click OK. And this would just filter based on what call is being done. But we don't want this, so let's just close all of these and take this filter out. All right, so this is how you do the text parser and how you get which email it is. And we need to know the email because we are going to go to a database of calls and grab those emails. So let me show you the database. Ideally, you have, this is a demo one, just for a bunch of content that I do, but this is where you would have all the leads that you are having calls with. And you would have here the emails, and you would supposedly already have this in your database, be it Airtable, which is this, be it, I don't know, ClickUp, Google Sheets, anything works. They all work the same in this for this specific case, but you'd want to have what lead it is and what sales rep is assigned to that lead. And so ideally, you would also have a database for your sales reps. And this database of sales reps would have their Slack ID, so that later on the automation, we can send automated messages to their own DMs. So once you add someone to the call, and this can be by another automation, when the call gets booked, it immediately gets assigned to a specific person. These will all be populated, so the person and their own Slack ID. Then, lastly, you would want that feedback form. So I just created a random one where you can put it's qualified, their pain points, and I added etc. because this will depend on your use cases. But you would add this here, and you would connect it to the leads database. So that's why you see here call feedback and you see here leads. It's because they are connected to each other. And this is all you would need, because once we go back to the automation, we search for records in Airtable. We are searching, this is an old name, so don't care about that, but it would be here the leads one. You would search for the email. So the lead email, this is how we search inside Airtable. Each platform will have their own way. You can see it here. And you search for where the lead email equals to, and we pass this email that we got from the module we did before to get the specific email. So this would be like this, empty. You just click here and it would be good to go. So what this does is every single time this runs, grabs the email from that call and search the email in the database. So it would grab here these specific records. And so once it grabs the records, it knows this is the sales rep responsible for this call, and here is their Slack ID. And so we create here a message in Slack where we select that it's a direct message for which user. So the user, we grab the Slack ID that comes from your sales rep. So this would be empty, and you just click like this. And then you do whatever message you want to send. In this case, here is the call feedback form for this leads email, and you would put the email because they may do this at the end of the day, for example, so they need to remember. And then we add the link for the form, but using Airtable, we can pre-fill the lead that is supposed to be in that form. So they don't need to input here which lead it is. As you can see, they don't need to go here and add lead and imagine you have hundreds of leads. It doesn't make any sense. So we pre-fill this already for them. So when they enter through an URL like this, pre-fill leads, and then they have the record ID of the lead, it would be automatically populated, and they just need to write here anything and fill the whole form, click submit, it would be done. Of course, then you can have automations for when forms are submitted, blah, blah, blah. You know that the sky's the limit with automations. But that's how you can do a very simple tracking system for your sales rep and for your discovery calls, sales calls, and everything. And this will keep everyone aligned and remind everyone to fill their own tracking. So I hope you find it useful and you can use it in your own business. And if you did find it useful, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because I'm doing one video every single day for the month of January around how to improve and optimize business operations using automations, AI, and data analytics. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.